Welcome to the Freelance Drive. Here we talk with skilled freelancers about their professional journey. Stay tuned for real life experiences to learn and actionable steps to take to improve your freelancing career. My name is Yuri. I'm a community builder at Code Control and 9am.works. And my guest is Bjoern Brand, an editor of IT Freelance Magazine, social selling expert, and a freelance digital marketing consultant who supports IT freelancers in becoming digitally visible to get the projects requests that fit them. So, welcome, Bjorn.
Thanks. Happy to be here, and hi to the community.
Thank you very much for joining. We already had an amazing webinar with you, so it will be just a little shorter part, but we'll just jump straight to questions. So, first question, you cannot share it, but still, what is social selling?
So basically, social selling is a framework where you use sales in social media, or actually where you use selling techniques with the help of social media and the other way around. So basically, it consists of a few main parts. That is, if we're talking social media, I mean mostly social business media, and the most international renowned one is LinkedIn. So basically, most of what we're going to be talking is about LinkedIn and social selling there. I mean, there's a few probably industry-specific channels where you can apply this as well, but mostly it's going to be LinkedIn. So and it consists of the main areas of first optimizing your profile, so checking that it's like a landing page. You would do it with a website. Then thinking about, okay, who I want to target for what I want to achieve, and then reaching out to those people and connecting with them and building relationships. And also then the last part is a marketing part. So basically social selling is always basically a mix of marketing, so lead generation, and then the sales process. So you do a lot of content marketing as well. Some would say that personal branding is a big part of social selling. And then there's basically the sales process when you approach your prospects and get the projects you want.
So what I hear is that everything that you explained is kind of like exactly what every freelancer is doing. So they market, they create content, they go to clients, they sell, and like all this process is kind of like social selling.
Yeah, and it's basically just a framework that keeps it, in order and organizes this strategically from the start until the end.
When and how did you start practicing social selling?
That's funny because I actually started doing it, where I wasn't a freelancer, and I was doing this unintentionally. So I was starting on LinkedIn, I think in 2018. And working as a working student for the IT Freelance Magazine, where I'm editor right now. And we always needed to get people to do content for us because there was no budget there at this time to pay people to write for us. So we were kind of depending on, okay, we need interesting people who write content for us. In our case, there were IT experts who would write about their expertise or about freelancing, and also other industry experts. So my job was basically to reach out to them and pursue them to write content for me for free, basically. So that's how it started, actually. And I had a few learnings. I did so many mistakes at the start, like cold outreaching, like copy and paste messages, and then you see, okay, what works, what doesn't work. And that's basically, convincing them to do content for me, but also building relationships over the time. That's kind of the start of the social selling that I did. And that was, basically the first steps. And then later I was really interested in the topic because I was kind of amazed on what you can actually do with LinkedIn. You can meet so many great people and build relationships, like real relationships. and build an expert status in your industry. So people know you, know your face, and you can connect with so many people. So that was always what kind of amazed me about social media. And then I did my bachelor thesis on this, basically. So, and then I went into freelance. So I'm helping freelancers do this.
And usually, like when I hear about social selling, it's all about like building relationships, like starting and continue. But like going a little forward, from your experience, how to maintain those relationships, how to make sure that once you've built them, you keep continuing doing them.
Yeah, I mean, it's always important to prioritize. So, I mean, you can't nurture every relationship in your life. So, I mean, you have like a limited amount of energy. Either if it's your private life or it's your business life, it's the same basically. So, yeah, have a clear focus on who you want to reach. That's important. So, pick those out that you actually want to connect to, and nurture those relationships, and keep in contact. So there's different types that you can stay in contact and nurture those relationships. The first part is just you could create a list of these people and check their LinkedIn regularly and check if they posted something, or hit the bell at their profile so you always get notified. And those are all little contact points. So if you like their posts, if you comment something, or if you DM them. So that's basically the three ways of interacting with them. There's a practice that is called social listening. So in a corporate way, that would mean, okay, I'm checking who's talking about me and how. But for a freelancer, that would mean I'm checking what the other person is interested about. Let's say, I don't know, you just connected to a CTO at a company and he's like crazy into golfing, and you see that he's all like he posted something, or he did list it in one of his hobbies at his profile. So okay, you can connect on this level with him and talk about golfing. I mean, it's for most people it's weird to talk about business firsthand if you meet someone. So you talk about private things first, and that's how you those are the ways you could stay in contact.
By the way, it's good to talk about golfing if you are an expert in it. But if you have no idea about golfing and see that somebody has like their hobby, do you think it's good to talk about it?
Yeah, because the other person is enthusiastic about it, probably. And I mean, you don't need to talk about it; just ask questions
and listen.
That's how you. I mean, if probably the book "How to Win Friends and Influence People" by Dale Carnegie. One of his learnings is that you actually ask questions and have like real interests and people's interests, and they will feel like they had a great conversation with you, even though you didn't actually say something. You just asked good questions. So yeah, this I would say yes. I would recommend it. I mean, if you're not interested in golfing at all and you don't care, then maybe not. But if you try to develop an honest interest, then I would recommend it.
Yeah, what role the person's individuality plays in social selling?
So basically, if you're an extroverted person, you will have advantage at the start, because you won't feel insecure about contacting people, putting yourself out there with content. So I mean, that's kind of the first barrier that most people have with this concept, getting out there, also putting their personality out there. So yeah, that would help. But in general, if you're a person who's not into, okay, I don't want to market myself that aggressively, I don't want to have content with my face all over it on LinkedIn, then you have to find your own way. So your own individual way on how to use this concept for you. I mean, in the end, it's about building relationships, and if you're not the loudest person in the room, then maybe your you're connecting with people on a different level. So doing other social interactions like liking posts and commenting is highly underrated, because for most people, that's a really easy way to get a conversation with another person going. So if you comment under a post, they will remember you. And if you do it regularly, they will like be way more open to talk to you via direct messages, and maybe, go the steps. And the goal is always, to get to a phone call, obviously, or Zoom call. So get it from the digital space closer to the more personal side. Yeah.
For me, it sounds like to be a more human.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Like I can imagine when you meet somebody and like on the street or in the shop or I don't know on the beach and anywhere, you're not talking like, okay, so what is your title? Let's talk about your. Like you're talking about the weather, you're talking about some product, you're talking about, I don't know, children, about some stuff. So
yeah, that's for sure. I mean, it's about building trust in the end. It's about how many contact points do you need to have with the person until the person opens up and is ready to talk about business, or to talk about, the things that you could do together potentially.
And from your experience, what are top 3 mistakes people make when practicing social selling?
I think one of the number one things is actually doesn't even have to do with the act of social selling actively. It has to do with the strategic base. So basically, that's kind of the strategic marketing part that is behind your personal brand, behind your service. So what you're offering. So basically, if I work with my clients, that's the first things I'm asking them, if they have figured out, okay, what's my unique value proposition? So do you actually know what pain points do you relieve with your clients? And do you actually have a positioning? Do you communicate this, or do you know how to communicate your additional value? So this is one of the number one things. Like a lot of people start without even knowing, okay, what is actually my, what pain points am I relieving, and who's my target group, and what is actually the stuff that I should be putting out there about me and marketing. So yeah, that's one point. One important thing to figure out first, and that's gonna take time. And positioning, you have to test it, you have to try it, and that's something, that needs some time to test. Always in the process, and then the next point is giving up too early. So if you're really doing the whole concept and you're doing content marketing as well, I mean, it's always like this when you start something, you're really euphoric at the start, and you stop at some point because you're not that euphoric, and that's why you need systems to create this continuity. So and not like, also most people try to get results immediately, and content marketing, which is a big part of social selling, is building trust. It's a long-term game. If you're from the start, if you say, okay, I'm not going to do it for 3 years, then, or 2 years at least, or 1 year, then don't do it, because it's not going to work that well for you, because it's something, you build up an authority in an industry, and that slowly, and then from one point there's like exponential growth. And you have to work yourself towards that point first. And so consistency is like really, really important. And I guess the third one could be what people care too much what other people think of them. So
totally.
I mean, especially more introvert persons, they they overthink everything. They think, okay, I'm going to post this. This is going to end my career maybe. And the reality is, people forget what you posted on LinkedIn. I mean, they know that if you do it regularly, they know your face. They get familiar with your face. This is called the mere exposure effect, right? Mm-hmm. So the more often you get, you see a stimuli, or you have a stimuli, the more, how do you say, the more comfortable you get with it, and the more, how do you say, familiar you get with the stimuli. So basically, it works like that for persons too. For people, if you, I don't know, I have some YouTube channels that I'm watching. You think you're their best friends because you watched them for 2 years and they don't know you. So yeah, that's basically what I would say. Okay, do what you do with a plan. Do it strategically, and don't just post a cute dog picture without a story behind it. But don't overthink it too much, because at the start it's about getting started, getting that momentum. And also, one important thing is content should in fact attract, but it should also repel people. Mm-hmm. That's why you need to know, okay, who do I want to actually work with? What you do at the start, the targeting part is, if you're not really a conservative person, then maybe working for the banking industry or public services might be not your thing. So if you post a cool picture of you riding a motorcycle, maybe people in the banking industry won't find that nice. But at the end, that's not the people you want to attract. You want to attract other cool people who, I don't know, play the e-guitar and riding motorcycle, and
and it's a really good point that content somehow not only have to attract people but also to repel, because sometimes people think that, okay, I need to be liked by everyone, and I know that social media is a really crucial place. LinkedIn is a crucial place. So you may post something and receive like 0 reactions, 0 comments, but the magic is going behind. Because from my experience, sometimes I post something that it's really not that much exposure, almost 0 comments, almost 0 reactions. But then people reaching out in DMs like, I really like what you posted.
Yeah, sure.
Like I'm like, and it's not about, like everything to everyone. It's like to find a really good fit, really your people. And I understand that it's totally not like an overnight success, but how to motivate yourself not to give up?
I mean, the motivation part comes partially from, there's this phase where you actually start getting traction, and at the start it's mostly there's just a few people commenting and liking, but it's really important what you said. Actually, a lot of people are still seeing this. So even if your post just has 100 views, which is not a lot, think of 100 people in a room who just watched what you were doing. So basically, even though it's just for a few seconds, it counts. And at the end, don't care too much about the views, because if you're having 100 views in a really specific niche, that's more worth than reaching a broad audience that is not one of your client base. But coming back to your motivation point, I think it's important to have a reason why you do things. That's the most important thing. And it's not just about, okay, I want to be getting more clients. You need to really, and that's what I normally also do when you figure out the strategic base, really find your reason why. So why do you actually, if you're IT consultant, helping companies building their cloud or so why do you do this? So for most people, okay, or for some people it's fine, to make money, but to see, okay, what am I contributing to something that is bigger than me? like in society, like in my head, helping countries digitize and things like this, This is, if you don't have the reason why, you will lose your motivation really quickly. And if you have it, it can push you forward, because there are those days where you think, why am I even doing this? Like,
Yeah, I totally agree. Bjorn, I really wish to have the sky's the limit to our conversation, but time is the limit. So the final question, what is your favorite food?
My favorite food? Okay. My favorite food is fish, actually, because I'm a fisherman. I just realized that's the first thing that popped up in my head. So yeah, I love fish and seafood.
By the way, I believe that if somebody wants to connect with you, they should totally talk with you about fishing.
Yeah, they won't be able to stop me. So if there's fellow fly fishermen out there or spear fishermen, hit me up. Otherwise,
just do that.
I'm always enthusiastic about a lot of things. So if you have a cool hobby to share, let me know.
Thank you so much, Bjorn, for sharing your experience. And it's such a pleasure to hear and learn from you.
Thanks.
And thank you so much for listening. If you like the show, hit the like button or 5 stars and share it with your friends. That's it. We're done. See you in the next episode.